case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
All right, let's get it going.
Finchy, what was going on with the offense last night?
The ball movement was there. I thought the ball movement was there. We didn't make the plays that were right in front of us. So I thought there was a really good opportunities to make those plays. So I thought we started the game wanting to make all the home run plays, instead of making all the plays.
Hit some more doubles.
Get into the ball game and make the rhythm play.
All right, Finchy, that's the offense. What about the defense?
They had 23 fast break points.
Is that all?
A lot of them were just turnover led by us. And, I thought defensively, a lot of game plan mistakes early. I think we were very sharp with the game plan. But, it was turnovers more than anything else that hurt it.
Yeah, 25 turnovers for your Minnesota Timberwolves late last night. My West Coast or Pacific time zone, even though it's Mountain time zone wellness plan with the 9:30 tip, did not go well last night. Stayed through it, watched it, saw the Wolves cut it to 10 in the fourth quarter. Got interesting for a moment, but they lose by 12. Nikola Jokic with a triple-double. He's got like 100 of those in the postseason now. 27 points, 16 assists. That, to me, is the biggest number. And 12 rebounds as the Wolves now look to close out the series Thursday night at home, Game 6.
I didn't like what I saw last night. I was fully prepared for a Wolves loss. My eyes are open. I talked about this the day after. Playing without 2 starters, including your star, at home, you're on a pure adrenaline. You are you're at home, you're in the fray, and you're feeling good, and then you have an epic performance from Ayo. But reality was probably going to set in. It was going to be a lot harder to sustain that, as we indeed saw. What bugged me was the careless turnovers that didn't really look to me a lot about who wasn't in the lineup, but just people not taking care of the ball. That did lead to some of the fast breaks. We didn't run much at all, very effectively, although sometimes it's difficult to do that if the other team is scoring. And Denver's offense did look better longer in that game than it has throughout this thing. So, to me, the formula for the home game Thursday night is simple. You're going to have to push back on them again defensively. You're going to have to play the kind of defensive game you have played through much of this series, back to harassing them more consistently. And you're going to not be able to be that reckless with the basketball. You're not going to give yourself even a chance to win it at home if you are as reckless with the ball. The assumption is maybe somebody doesn't have to get 40 like Ayo did last home victory, but probably somebody's going to have to get 30, whether it's him or somebody's going to have to go off. And if you're lucky, 2 guys are going off, right? Maybe it's a night where Nas is just on a heater. He hasn't a lot of those, but there've been some signs lately. And you get major scoring from somebody else, because you're not going to outscore them, but you have to be more functional offensively. You have to be more disciplined offensively. You have to get some fast break baskets, and you have to get back to harassing them defensively just enough where they're not playing their A offensive game. To me, that's the combo platter.
Well, box scores don't always tell the whole story, but in this case, I think they do. 51% shooting for the Wolves, 43% from 3. They made 12, not terrible. Got to the line 23 times, made 19 of them, 83%. If you said we're going 50, 40, 80 with that many attempts, both 3 and free throw, you go, that's pretty good for the Wolves. Pretty good shooting.
That's true.
And then you go down a couple more columns, 25 turnovers. There's your ball game. And they led. And if Cameron Johnson and Spencer Jones combined for 38
you're
points,
probably doomed anyway.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
That's the deal, because those guys have really not done anything.
Yeah, Jones was, you could argue from their standpoint, he was their
They're
looking for exactly. They're looking for a missing piece too, with Aaron Gordon sitting again. And I'm assuming there's a good chance Gordon will not play. They may be encouraged with Jones on the basis of how he played this last game So I guess I shouldn't assume Gordon won't play because there's 2 extra days, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if he sits again.
Oklahoma City swept Phoenix out of the playoffs. And how about the Orlando Magic take a commanding 3-1 lead over the Detroit Pistons, 94-88. The Pistons are in the meat grinder, the number 1 seed in the East.
They are, and I talked several times late in the season how much I enjoy the way they play and the way they guard. But I must say, the people who were questioning them a little bit, their predictions are coming true, and that was not enough offense. That there's so much pressure on their main guy, Cade, that
who's not playing very well.
I think he's got isn't he have 12? Is it third? He's got a bunch. The last 3 games, the
turnovers.
He's 20-some turnovers, I think. It's some ridiculous number.
It's historic for a player to have that many turnovers in a 3-game stretch in the postseason.
And he's just not getting any help offensively. And so the chickens are coming home to roost there. So the weird thing about it, if you watch the games, and I've watched several of them, it doesn't look fluky. I have a hard time thinking Detroit's going to summon it up and come back. I kind of hope they do because I think it's a better story. But Orlando's just kind of looked like the better team, which is outrageous. Remember their last game of the regular season? We mocked them. They were playing Boston. Boston was playing used 4 people off the streets that day and beat them. And that was to actually give them a better seeding because they ended up being the 8th seed. They looked dead. They were already talking about the coach being gone, and now they're on the verge of moving out and becoming, I think, either the 5th or 6th team to knock off a number 1 seed as an 8.
Yakov Trenyan and Mats Zuccarello are game-time decisions.
Oh, come on.
Game-time decisions, but they both took part in morning skate today.
Yes.
Heinze, what does Zuki bring to your lineup?
He's got a lot of experience and really smart player, knows the game. So it's nice to have him back. I think he's got the combination of his experience, his hockey sense, and kind of his personality are all things that you always welcome back into the group.
Puck drops at 7 o'clock tonight. Pivotal Game 5 for the Wild against the Stars. It's knotted at 2. Our pregame show begins right after this show, just shy of 90 minutes from now, 6:30 with Micheletti and Fallness.
The West, not the Governor Walls. Wes Walls,
who's
who
in a
joined us
Twitter
at
battle
4.
with Cash Patel right now, by the way.
Is that right? Oh, that's
well,
good.
he's not in a battle as much as the FBI director is responding to something that the governor tweeted today about some raids that are taking place in our town. But
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
No, in this case,
rhetoric
it's
is
Wes
lowered.
Walls.
Rhetoric is very low.
Everybody's lowering the temperature. That's what we're doing. What Wes said, I didn't write down the numbers. I should have, but he just laid out team's record without Zuki in the lineup and with him.
Yeah.
And it was dramatic.
Underpaid. It was 68%, I think is what he said.
As opposed to 500. It's a huge gap, which clearly, despite his age, closer to 39, as Walls said, than 38 at this point. We've been kind of kidding about him being basically the answer for everything that he can cure every Minnesota Wild ill if he's just available again. But maybe that's true. Then you're back to you think he might be a little bit underpaid because he's supposed to fix the power play, smartest guy in the room. He's supposed to fix Kaprizov, even though I don't think Kaprizov is broke. But you want to see more from a goal scoring standpoint. So. We'll see. Because if that's the case, overconfidence might be our only enemy tonight.
Like I said,
Game
pregame,
5.
6:30, puck drop just after 7, right here on the Fan. Shelty, if you haven't been following along, Shelty is Derek Shelton. He's the Twins manager. Shelty.
Sometimes you go through stretches, and today was a good day, and we seemed to capitalize on a bunch of opportunities. We had a little bit of luck. I mean, we had a ball hit a base, so sometimes you need those things, but really proud of it. And then Connor did a good job. We needed 5 innings. He got the lead. It was challenging conditions, and he battled through it to get his first Major League win.
Connor Prelip, that's who he's talking about. Couldn't pick him out of a lineup next to Cam Johnson and Spencer Jones, who we just talked about with the Nuggets. He's the Twins' number 5 overall prospect, which I know is always arousing to those of us on this show. Gets his first big league victory. Cody Clemens, Lavelle's guy, hit a dong, drove in 5 runs. Byron Buxton also went deep. Twins snapped their losing streak and beat the Mariners 11-4 at Target Field. Teams back in action tonight, game 2 of the series. about 90 minutes from now as well.
It looks like a good night. A little chilly, but much nicer than the miserable rain that kind of permeated everything yesterday, right? And so
Yes.
I think the trend is, cool temperatures, but pleasant conditions. So almost fall-like conditions until we get to late in the week.
Are you a big dumper guy?
Who?
Cal Raleigh? That's his nickname.
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't heard that nickname.
Yeah, I'm not either, but
No.
the kids like him.
Did they like that name?
Yeah, he plays for the Mariners.
Oh.
I think that's his nickname. Big dumper.
Big Dumper?
Yeah,
Is that kind of a jarring nickname there for you?
it sure is. That's
Yeah.
why it stays with you.
Definitely.
That's why it stays with you. But he's
Definitely
in town.
true. Yeah.
It's Joe Ryan on the mound tonight for the home team.
Do we have an update we need to get to? Maybe we can even save it for the next segment. Have we officially added to the size of the big dance?
Oh, is that true?
Is that official? I've got 2 or 3 people texting saying that they believe we are now going to 76 teams. From 68. What are we now? 68? No.
68.
Yeah, 68 to
Yep.
you might want to look that up, to 76, or maybe it's just on the front burner. I think, expected that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know how current it was.
Pete Thamel, Elite Pete. The NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments to 76 teams. The expansion is on track to be formalized in the upcoming weeks, with mid-May as the target. The 76-team tournaments begin
That's lovely.
next year. It's one of those things where I'm not, they'll do it. We'll complain about it. It'll be weird.
Yeah.
And then
people will move on.
people will move on, but it's also one of those things of, did we need it? No, of course we didn't need it. Now, Nico Medved's probably listening on his way home right now and going, no, we need it. We need as many teams as possible, because that's how these coaches and programs are judged, right?
True.
Get into the tournament, as even if it's diluted and it's 76 and all of that. But yeah, so, all right, there you go. Thanks, people, for thinking about us there, because I had not seen that yet.
Yeah, they're always thinking about us. They're always out there. The unpaid contributors to this program.
We love them.
Right? We absolutely love them. We can't get enough of them.
Well, let's try to give them some money.
Let's do it.
Let's try to help them out. The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It's our national cash contest. You can enter the keyword bills at KFAN.com. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword bills.
Flim Flam noted your commentary regarding the Big Dumper nickname.
Did I get it right?
He writes, it sounds like a new alternative bumper-to-bumper show name, such as The Beast and The Afternoon Aardvark, etc. Why not throw it into the mix?
Mix in the big dumper every once in a while.
Big Dumper every once in a while.
Yeah, I don't know how he came up with it. I think it has to do with
that's too good.
the sides of his backside and legs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
6'5" guy with some tough love on your Minnesota Wild. The Wild not being able to do anything without Zuccarello seems like every other playoff run. It was Eriksson Ek one year, and now it's Zuccarello. If you can't win without one guy in the lineup, then you don't deserve to get past round one. There's some truth to that. I hope that's not what we're setting up here. But he's back, we think, and you're 2-2. We have a great opportunity to, we talked about earlier, go ahead 3-2 in a series for the first time since we last won a playoff series. That goes back, 11 years?
2015.
2015,
Yep.
Yeah, exactly it. We think the extended pregame tonight before Wild Stars will begin on the Fan at 6:30.
Yes, it does.
Puck drop 7:10. Wild fan line is expected after Game 5, too. So a lot of hockey
That's
tonight.
always explosive,
Yeah.
especially if they don't do well.
I don't even know. None of us are going to know what to do with a 7 o'clock start.
It's so refreshing.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's tremendous.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I don't like Jimmy Kimmel at all, but it was an age joke, not an assassination joke. Would have been no different than if he said it towards any old man with a younger wife. You're doing some convenient cherry picking, Dan. Lefties have been canceling conservatives for years, and now you find it troublesome. 612 guy, I don't know how long you've been listening to this program, but we've been annoying lefties for decades, bringing up endless examples of that canceling. There may well be people who are inconsistent politically in that regard, and even, listeners out there. who do make it all about Sharks and Jets, and I can't give any sustenance to my enemy, but we have made it a staple, quite frankly, of this program.
Pitchfork Nation.
Yeah, exactly, particularly on college campuses. So if you think this is the first time and that we're cherry picking and that we've ignored examples from the left attempting to shut people up or shut people down, you're making it up. You just you haven't been listening to the show as much as you want, or you need me to be the boogeyman, and you are not going to let facts get in the way of a good story. Orlando didn't try to win the last game of the regular season because they wanted to play the Pistons. Well, I guess that could be the conspiracy theory, although their route, I think, got a little bit more problematic if they did sacrifice in that game. But by all accounts, that was a team that seemed to be at war with its coach, and they were expected before the season to be a factor. A lot of people said.
They have a lot of good players.
They do have a lot of interesting players. There's no question.
Now, one of them, is it Franz Wagner?
Yeah, one of the Wagners.
One of the Wagners.
Yeah.
He's got a bad calf, and which, as we know, has been a precursor for what Dante's dealing with right now.
Yeah, you're right.
It might be why Aaron Gordon is going to shut it down, which he should. It's crazy, these Achilles.
Did you look up did you note, someone has done the research on this, are we up to 4 players with the number 0?
Right.
All suffering from Achilles tears? I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's Dante. It's Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum. And Dante just did the Tatum where he flew to New York.
Yes.
Had the surgery the next day in hopes of obviously coming back quicker. And Damian Lillard is the 4th. Yep. They all wear number 0.
Eerie. Did you see also that you mentioned Celtics guy sending out a nice voice of support, message of support?
That was really nice. Yeah.
Dante basically said, well, I don't know if he may not even want it, but I don't care. I'm going to be in his corner.
That was really nice.
That was very nicely played.
Tatum rarely misses with that stuff. He's a good ambassador.
Do we have any working knowledge, and I'm sure this might come up with Johnny, the ball exchange deal between Joker and our backup center, the kid?
Yeah, Berenger.
So was that at the end of the game?
Yes, it was.
So is that his way of mocking, like, here, you want the ball, like you want to go ahead and try to score, I guess? I don't know what that was about.
Well, I do think it was, and he went no comment after the game, or
Joker,
next
I saw
question
that, yes.
after the game, which is also like, okay, so you're going to do something, but you're not going to, I don't get that part of it. Berenger, poor kid, looked so confused.
Yes, he was.
he looked so lost.
What am I supposed to do here?
After, when he's like, what was that?
Yeah.
Now we're going to jump it, and then Joker didn't jump. Well, I think he just wanted to guarantee that he'd get the ball back, the Nuggets, and then he could dribble out the clock. That's what I think was the bit, because we ended up going down shooting, missed it. They got the ball back, and Joker dribbled it out.
Have you heard one of the conspiracy theories about when Joker ran over to the sideline to confront Jaden?
Tell me.
One of the conspiracy theories is he very consciously did that, attempting to provoke Jaden into doing something stupid like he did once before at a teammate, throw a punch, thereby maybe even opening the door to suspension.
Well, I didn't hear that conspiracy theory. That was my conspiracy theory, that he wanted Julius, Rudy, he wanted everybody.
Yeah.
Because he felt like they were cooked. He felt like he needed to do something. 100% I believe that. I might have a tinfoil hat on, but
he handled it well, regardless. As I said, all he did was he kind of grabbed him back, and
Jaden was great.
And smirked. He did not rise to it. He did not, which is not that easy to do when you're confronted by this enormous human being, as he called him.
Yes.
Big
as hell.
Yeah, big as hell.
Big as hell.
Yeah.
Randall, you saw, really had to be held back. I 100% believe that he tried to do something to get somebody in trouble. 100%.
100%. Yeah.
I can't prove it.
For sure.
I can't prove it, but I think he was trying to do something.
Some sort of incite a riot.
Yes, because he knows he's untouchable.
Yeah.
His teammate 2 years ago threw a heating pad on the floor and didn't get suspended.
So and you're still not over it.
Why would I be?
Yeah.
It was right next to Cat.
It's not worthy of a suspension.
Throwing a heating pad on the floor while they're playing?
Well, no, because he wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't good. He didn't get kicked out. He should have gotten kicked out of the game.
Nobody noticed it until after.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody noticed it.
Yeah,
live.
I don't think that's suspension, but nevertheless,
they're not going to suspend Joker in an elimination game, so he knew.
Well, to be honest with you, Gordon could have easily been suspended. I think they just decided this game's too important to us now. This series. We're just not going to suspend anybody, no matter what.
There's also the thinking that that some of the players may have thought that the game was actually over. Because
that's a good point.
I heard that today. That
I kind of did too.
Yeah,
I kind of thought it was.
And I don't know where Jamal Murray ended up, but I watched the video, and as Jaden was going, Jamal Murray went to the other tunnel. He was walking back to the locker room.
Oh, is that right?
So I don't know if he was there for any of the smoke.
He didn't have anything to do with any of it.
No, I don't know because then they cut it after that. But yeah, trust me, that's what I was telling people on the way out, like a rube. Yeah, Max Fuller was sitting right in front of me, and he's walking out. I'm like, Joker did that to try to get us suspensions. I'm such a rube. I totally believe that.
Let's find out if Jonny Athletic accepts that conspiracy theory, what he saw last night in Denver, and what has to change for the Wolves to avoid what would seem to be a very difficult situation going to Denver to win Game 7. Yeah, we've done that before, but we've done that with all of our players, which we are not going to have. So, Johnny, if you have questions for him, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line, questions on basketball or hockey, 64686.
It's time for Jonny Athletic. Jonny Athletic. Jonny Athletic. Boy. And Barrero right now.
Thank you, Ricky Rubio. What a perfect toss-up question for our next guest. Let me read it to you. This is from Brother David. Johnny, can you talk about the messaging Finchie and the staff are going to have offensively with the team? I feel like fans talk out of both sides of their mouths. They say someone like Nas, Ayo, Randall needs to have a big offensive game and step up with Ant gone, but then they'll also say everybody's trying to do too much, and we turn it over 30 times, and our offense is terrible. Well, those are conflicting messages. You can't tell these guys to step up and play outside their boundaries and then criticize them for it. So what's the fine line that Finchie will locate? It's a good text. What do you think?
It is a good, it's a great text, Dan, and I do think that is something that the Wolves are going to need these 2 days to sort of hash out because I was watching the game last night, and in real time, it kind of felt to me like, hey, this is the classic. They're up 3-1. They're not really as locked in, and they're playing the desperate team, and so they can't manufacture that similar desperation, and so that's why they were so sloppy, as they weren't really locked in. Talking to the players and coaches afterward, they said, actually, we were probably too locked in. We were probably trying to do too much. And I do think that is about them sort of coming to grips with this new normal. No Dante DiVincenzo, no Anthony Edwards. And I just think that they didn't have a good handle on the right approach. And so the hope is going into Game 2 that after getting that one flushed, they can kind of take a deep breath. They have a little bit more clarity about everyone's role, about what needs to happen, and they play more under control in Game 6. Because I thought in Game 4, they moved the ball, they shared it. Even though Ayo had the big night, everyone was chipping in, and I think that Game 5 was a little too much of, I want to do this on my own, I want to make a big play, and that's where they really got into trouble.
It's another fine line here between trying to take advantage of fast break opportunities the way they have when it's gone well, and being sped up too much, where you're not the one, you're almost doing it in a way that ends up being reckless. And I felt that was kind of the balancing act in that regard was not very good last night either. Do you think, will there be, or is there much, I guess, opportunity to change who you play and even the rotation of the remaining players that you have, do you see much of a chance that Finchie might take a fresh look at this thing, or how do you think that might play out Thursday night?
I do think he's going to take a fresh look, Dan. I just do wonder, though, if he will stray from his comfort zone. Mike Conley is his comfort zone. Kyle Anderson is his comfort zone. I actually thought Kyle played pretty well last night. But I think when you look at the advantages that can be created by the Timberwolves in this series, it is athleticism. And so that, to me, leans a little bit more toward Terrence Shannon Jr. What Finch said after the game, and what is true, is that if you do put him out there, you open yourself up to a few more defensive breakdowns, a few more game plan mistakes as a young player.
Yeah.
But I think that you balance that with the upside of being able to get out in transition, also being able to get downhill in the half court and get by people and score at the rim. And that is what the Wolves can do over and over and over again with the right personnel out there. And so it's going to be a difficult decision for Chris Finch to what does he lean into? Does he lean into kind of stability and reliability with maybe a little lower upside? Or does he gamble a little bit with the Terrence Shannon Jr. or even a Jalen Clark and say, I'm going for it all here. This is our Super Bowl, and I'm going to roll the dice and hope it comes up, because if those bets hit on Shannon and Clark, they could win by 20 points tomorrow or on Thursday night. If they don't, they could be real in the meat grinder. So that's a real. I'm sure that Finch and Mike Inori and Pablo Prigioni and everyone are going to be really examining that over the next day and a half here, trying to come up with the right solution.
I felt like that's the closest we've seen of the good Denver offense for a more sustained period, although I think some of that did have to do with the 25 turnovers, whatever the number was that we ended up committing in the game. What did you think of the Wolves defensively against Denver compared to what they'd done up to that point in the series?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it, Dan, in terms of the defense struggled in large part because of how many times they were turning it over offensively and giving Denver runouts for dunks and runouts for open threes and things like that. And so the Denver offense had much more rhythm in Game 5 than they've had at any point previous in this series. If you want to be optimistic about the Wolves' chances in Game 6, I would say this, which I truly believe. Jokic was really, really good. He wasn't that kind of helpless inducing type of a feeling. It was really more so about Spencer Jones and Cam Johnson giving them 38 combined points, where they had done nothing in this series, than it was about Jokic or Murray. Murray was ordinary. He was actually thought he wasn't even all that good. He was okay, but he wasn't all that good. And so will those role players be able to recreate that performance on the road in the House of Pain in Game 6? I think that's an open question mark, because the Nuggets are at their best when Jokic is passing it all around. He had 16 assists last night, when he's getting everyone involved and when they are cashing in on the good looks that he creates. And one of the reasons that the Timberwolves are so successful defensively is that Cam Johnson, Spencer Jones, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, all of them were really struggling. And so if they can keep those guys down again, I think they'll be in really good shape in Game 6.
Do we have any sense of what happens with Gordon? He'll have the extra day off as well. Is he likely to play Thursday, or what do you think?
Not a good sense yet. If I had to guess, though, Dan, I would guess no. I think that calf injury is really hurting him.
Yeah.
And so even if he does play, I think that will actually not be a bad thing for the Wolves, because I just don't think he can move around very well at all. The guy that I'm watching even more closely is Peyton Watson. I think that I'm not sure. He might, if he plays, he will have a long time off. And I think he can be a little bit closer to his 100%, certainly than Aaron Gordon is. And that could be a difference maker
he can guard a little,
for the
correct?
Nuggets. If they get, he can guard. He's athletic.
Yep.
He can get out and run. He can score. And so if he is somehow able to play on Thursday night, that would be a big boost. If I'm the Wolves, I'm not as concerned if Aaron Gordon plays, just because I think he would be so limited.
651 guy writes, everybody loves Minnesota Mike, but can you afford to start him and give him 15 or 20 minutes? We need more pressure on defense and that quickness to get up the court. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so the conundrum with Mike is that he is their best chase defender when it comes to chasing shooters around screens. And there's a reason that Christian Brown and Johnson and a few of those others struggled a lot in this series, or when he is out there, is because he can get in their face. Now, it's clear, though, that last night I think the Nuggets did a really good job of taking advantage of switches, getting Murray on Conley in the post, and that kind of created some issues for the Wolves. And then the other part of it, Dan, that I just think is really important in this series is Mike is not a particular threat to score. He hit a couple of threes in game 4, which was really, really nice. And you saw what a difference that makes, but that's more of the exception than the rule at this point. And so I think if they make a change or if they reduce his playing time, it will be because they're looking for more offensive firepower at that spot and putting Io in more of a traditional point guard spot. And then maybe you put Shannon next to him and see what you can do offensively. And so, but, Finch really trusts Mike, especially coming off of a game where they were throwing the ball all over the place and turning it over and over again. I could see Finch still leaning into his safety blanket and the guy who he knows will get other guys shots and will do the right things out there. And so that's going to be, I think that's his biggest decision going into Game 6.
Is it in the best case scenario for the Wolves Thursday night? Is it offense by committee where you put, I don't know, maybe 6 people in double figures? Or is it, no, somebody's going to have to go for 30. Maybe 40 is not realistic, but somebody is going to have to go for 30 points. Which is it?
I think, Dan, that it's probably more of a democratic system on offense for the outcome. I think that they want to have multiple attackers going to the rim over and over and putting pressure on Jokic, on Murray, on that Nuggets defense. And whether someone like Io or someone like Julius Randle does have a high 20s or low 30s scoring, I still think you need Naz Reid, you need Bones Highland, you need Terrence Shannon, you need someone else to be kind of the really good secondary threat, because what got Denver into trouble in this series was they were putting a lot of focus on DiVincenzo, on Edwards, on these guys on the perimeter, and that really just opened up the driving lanes for the Wolves. And so I think they have to have multiple real threats out there at one time at every minute that they are on the floor, so that they can try and stretch that really porous Denver defense out. What the Nuggets did well defensively in Game 5 was that they were able to pack the paint a little bit more. They were not worried as much about the shooters on the outside, and so they're going to need one of these Wolves role players is going to have to be a Spencer Jones and score 20 points on 4 or 5 threes, in this game to really loosen that Nuggets defense up, and then maybe Randall can go to work, and maybe Io can go to work, at the rim and in the paint and scoring and peppering them that way as well.
Jonny Athletic brought to you by RBC Wealth Management joining us this Tuesday here on The Fan. How would you evaluate Rudy's play in Game 5?
Yeah, it wasn't as good. It really wasn't. And I don't know the exact reason why. I mean, first of all, we have to say Nikola Jokic is just a really great player. And so there are going to be times where he kind of one-ups. But I do think that Rudy had a harder time holding Nikola off of his spots, pushing him off of him, being a little more physical. He didn't rebound the ball particularly well. He looked a little tired. I think there was a shot of him from, in the back hallway getting the oxygen at one point in the game. And maybe he was a little bit fatigued. Maybe he was a little bit lacking the edge because, they were up 3-1. I'm not sure, but I do think that having 2 days off between 5 and 6 is really big for Rudy in particular. I think they need a completely locked in, completely energized Gobert to make life miserable for Jokic again to give themselves a chance here. He was just not as impactful in 5, and he didn't rattle Jokic the way that he had in the previous 3 games. And so that just made the entire Nuggets offense look a lot more comfortable out there. And that's got to change in Game 6.
I also felt that Joker made quicker decisions. He's very good at making like 7 moves. And most of the time, against most defenders, that'll get him free. But I think he's learned with Rudy, he's actually frustrated him that way. And to me, part of it was whatever he wanted to do on a given play to score or pass, I thought he did it quicker than he had earlier in the series. His decision-making was quicker.
Yeah, he definitely did look cleaner in that way, for sure. And I think one thing that contributed to that is that the Wolves were not able to put him in as many actions defensively as they had the first 4 games. Joker was tired in the second half of every one of those games. And I think that led to some of his threes being short, to him missing some bunnies that he normally makes in his sleep. And they just didn't make Nikola work as hard on the defensive end in this game. He was able to sort of stay more stationary right around the rim, right in the paint, and not have to move around as much. And so I think he had a little more energy for the offensive side, and I think that he was a little sharper. The thing that has really struck me through this entire series is that Murray and Jokic are tired. They are really worn out. And if the Wolves are physical with them on defense and active with them, and then really lean into them on the other end of the court as well, they can wear those 2 guys down. And they just didn't do quite a good enough job with Joker that way in Game 5. I think Murray was ordinary at best and was tired again in Game 5. And so if they just keep leaning on him, that will be to their advantage in Game 6. But Rudy has to be a real part of just wearing the big guy down and softening him up as the game goes along.
What do you know about the battle going on between Dane Moore and is it guys from Altitude? I don't know who it is in the Denver end. Have you tried to get yourself in the middle of this? Because you pretend to be a peacemaker, but a lot of times you're the trigger. A lot of times you're the person who actually makes it even more heated and more controversial.
Yeah, I've wrestled with this over the last couple of days, Dan, because honestly, I just have listened to a little bit of their content, and it's really not worth engaging. They have clearly really enjoyed a little bit of attention that they've gotten from taking some of these shots. Dane is a good friend of mine. I stood up for him one time on Twitter, and then I just left off of it because I just don't want to give those guys any more kind of attention than they deserve, because they don't deserve any. And so I think going forward here, I'm taking the Don Draper kind of approach and just they are going to try and keep, stirring the pot. And I'm just going to sit back and say, I don't think about you guys at all, which I don't. So that's the way we're going to leave it. I think the rest of us have kind of come to that conclusion as well. They are rage baiting and trying to be relevant, and they are irrelevant. And so we'll just leave it at that. Speaking
of rage baiting,
boy,
this is from Texter 319. Question for you. Did Johnny find it easy to write about the Joker charging Jaden McDaniel, given he's been in that position before with Fallness charging at him after the Wild keep getting eliminated in the first round while the Wolves have advanced to back-to-back conference finals?
Thankfully, it has never gotten physical. I've wondered if a few times if it might over these last couple of years. It has not gotten to that point. I wonder, Dan, if I was in that position, if I would have the courage that Jaden had and be able to grab Paulness by his collar with both of my hands and smile at him.
Yes.
I think I could probably pull that off. I like to troll with them a little bit, but let's hope it doesn't get to that. Let's hope the Wild answer the bell and get to that second round, and we have winners all over the winter sports landscape, and we can all kumbaya and have a good time together.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't think I think there's room for everybody, isn't there?
We'll find out. We don't know.
Yeah,
we haven't
never
seen
known.
it.
Yeah.
So we're not sure about that, but we will find out. I do think I think that we all might. I think if the Wild advance, they would face the Avalanche, right?
Correct.
So, or at least possibly, and
Yeah,
so there would be another Colorado, Twin Cities battle as well, and so maybe we could all be kindred spirits together with that.
Are you buying? There's one of the conspiracy theories that's been advanced, going back to Joker's confrontation with Jaden, is that Joker was trying to goad Jaden into throwing a punch so that he would get suspended. Joker would just end up with a fine, and he would effectively miss a game in the series. You buying that conspiracy theory?
I don't think so, Dan. Joker is an incredibly smart, cunning player. I mean, we saw what he did at the end of the game last night.
Yeah. What was that all about?
Getting under the skin. I don't know. I'm not sure. Just trying to get under the skin a little bit of the Wolves, much like Jaden McDaniels did to the Nuggets. So that's all fair game to me. If you want to play mind games, if you want to do that, you want to return fire that way and retaliate, fine. This is a rivalry. Let's let these two teams be petty with each other. But I don't think in his mind when he went after Jaden after Game 4 or at the end of Game 4 that he was thinking, I'm going to get Jaden thrown out. I think he was truly, really mad. He's been mad at Jaden for doing that kind of stuff before, certainly after, in Game 7 of 2024. And so I just don't think he likes Jaden. I understand that. And so I think that was just pure emotion. I don't think that he was playing 3D chess there and saying, hey, if I roll up on him and he throws on me, he's going to get thrown out, because I think that if he would have rolled up on Jaden and Jaden would have punched him, I think they both would have gotten suspended. I really do.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah. I don't buy into that theory at all. I just think Joker was really upset at Jaden and was just in the heat of the moment there.
Nuggets will go up in smoke. This Adelman is a joke. Jaden was the wrong one to poke. Wolves in 5.
Ooh, boy.
Not
bad.
Bad.
It will be interesting to see how Jaden responds, because he said last night that he was not bothered by the crowd, that he really enjoys that. I actually believed him that he enjoys hearing the Jaden sucks chants and hearing the boos and all of those things, but he did not play well. And so I do think for them to win in Game 6, Jaden's going to have to play well and Rudy's going to have to play well. And so I'm not talking in addition to the defensive stuff, he's got to score. It would be nice to see him score 20, 25 points, because I think he can do it against this Nuggets defense. But he's got a little bit of responding to do, because he was in foul trouble. He looked like he was frustrated for much of that game, didn't shoot it well. He's 1 for, I think, 14 or 15 from 3 in the series. So he's got to start knocking down some shots.
Yeah,
and, there's going to be a lot on Jaden's shoulders in Game 6, and he'll be at home, as Mike Conley said. For all the hate that he felt in Denver, he'll feel 100 times more love at home, and so maybe that'll kind of boost him to a good game in Game 6.
Any fresh Anthony Edwards intel?
Well, what I can say, Finchie told Paul Allen yesterday, and then he kind of doubled down on it before the game, that the plan is, if they are able to go to the second round, that some point in that series, Anthony Edwards will try to come back. I don't know. I wouldn't expect it Game 1 or Game 2. I would think it would be later in the series, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. But I can tell you, in talking to people around Anthony Edwards, who around the team as well, he is very determined to get back on the court. he actually believed right before he got injured, unfortunately, that his right knee, the other bothersome knee, was actually getting really good, and that he thought that the Timberwolves were going to be in position to go on a deep run with him leading the charge. And so this left knee injury has really bothered him, and like he's crestfallen because of it, but he is determined to get back. He believes that they can still win at a high level if he gets back on the court in time. And so he intends to be back in the second round at some point. And so we'll see if he gets that opportunity to show that.
Hey, contract question. It's a little premature, I guess, but I think it's only natural for people to wonder about this. The assumption is the Dosunmu number, it's going to take more to keep him now than maybe they intended. Does a team get any relief, any salary relief when a player is out with the kind of cataclysmic injury, full-year injury that obviously the Wolves are dealing with in this case with Dante?
No, they don't get any salary cap relief, Dan, no, but there's a possibility that if another player or two were injured next year early, that they could get an exception to add another player to the roster, and kind of backfill that way. But as it stands, it doesn't help them from a monetary standpoint. So his $12.5 million, which I believe he's on the books for next year, will still go fully against their salary cap situation. And so, unfortunately, that's a hole that they just will not be able to fill that way and not count against the aprons and all of those things. He had surgery on Sunday. I'm told that it went well. I'm told that he is starting to become, in better spirits after, just being absolutely heartbroken by the injury, understandably so. And we'll see. This is a long way away, but there is a chance sometime in February or March he could come back next year, like Jason Tatum did. Unfortunately for the Wolves, they will just have to go forward with that salary there. There's no relief that they can get, and so they'll just have to sign Io and other players, and then make the determination of how deep they want to go into any luxury tax situation.
Last item, you got the extra day between games here, and that's just giving national media more time to serve up whatever they want to serve up regarding this series. But what you're hearing a lot already, and I think with some I think there's some merit to it on the part of a number of analysts, is that the Wolves have to win Game 6 here. That this isn't like a couple years ago when they went to Denver and took care of business in Game 7. It's a completely different set of circumstances, not being at full strength. Do you think the Wolves literally will be playing for their playoff lives Thursday night at Target?
I will say I think they should play that way. Denver was playing like they were playing for their playoff lives in Game 5. The Wolves should play that way, as if this is it. Throw everything we have at them. We do not want to go back for Game 7. That said, with this rivalry and how crazy it is, and the swings back and forth, I would not rule out the Wolves winning Game 7 in Denver. If you can get it there, Murray and Jokic will probably be tired again. There is a chance, but they would be enormous underdogs in that game, and rightfully so. I certainly wouldn't bet on them winning that game. And so it would be another magical thing in this crazy series. So I think that, yes, they should approach Game 6 like it's win or go home, and throw just the kitchen sink and everything they have at the Nuggets to try to knock them out, because it would be an enormous mountain to climb in Game 7 in Denver, but it's not one that I think would be impossible.
Thank you, Johnny. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Appreciate you. John Krasinski helping us out via The Athletic. It's hockey night here on The Fan. The extended pregame show will begin at 6:30. Wild Stars in action. Game number 5, the pivotal Game 5. Let's get back to that story. Let's get to some texts, and let's get back to the question I opened this program with and get more reaction there, too. A full half hour to flesh things out when we return. choose one. In your heart of hearts, do you feel better about the Minnesota Timberwolves winning one more game without two of its starters, or their starters, including their superstar player, or the Minnesota Wild, much healthier and getting healthier apparently by the minute, winning two games to advance out of the first round? 64686, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line. Early in the show, I kind of hit you with this cold. You said off the top of your head you lean Wild. I lean Wolves. But it's an interesting question because of the contrast in the situations. Because all the Wolves needs one more, but they're down two main players. And on the other hand, like I said, the Wild need two, but they're getting healthier. Apparently, we think Zuccarello's likely to be back tonight. We had Wes Walls on earlier, and I laid out the statistics that we've all kind of talked about, that to a certain extent, Marcus Foligno has been proven correct, that the Wild are actually, that the Stars don't want to play the Wild 5-on-5. And to that end, through the first four games of the series, the Wild are +6 in 5-on-5, but we're also -5 on the power play, which also kind of exposes Foligno to some ridicule because Foligno made that comment. It made some sense.
Did he make it from the penalty box? Did he make that comment from there?
He might have texted it to somebody. I'm not sure. So I asked Walsey, is it oversimplifying to say the key tonight is play them 5-on-5 for more of the game? And he said, no. That's the story. That's the way we have to play. Now, it doesn't guarantee anything, but that's certainly the trend in this series. Now, maybe Zuccarello joining would mean we can, hey, if we get a couple of power plays, we might be able to take better advantage of it.
That'd be helpful.
Than we have. But Walls was pretty honest about saying we can't do anything with their power play. It's A, it's good, and B, we've tried all sorts of things, made a number of adjustments, and nothing has been very effective and very successful. So therefore, you got to try to stay out of the box. Now, again, that's easier said than done. Things happen. Doesn't even have to be about losing control of your emotions sometimes. But who knows, that may well tell the story of this thing. And you'd like to say that we know it's best of 7, so it's not to that extent a must win. But we think in terms of opportunities, right? And you like to think the opportunity that is presented to the Wild is win Game 5 and then get back here and just end it.
Put them out of their misery.
Just end it. So we don't have to hear about the Stars for a while. And we don't have to hear about not getting out of the first round in forever. So I'm as curious as anybody to see it. I am as encouraged as anybody given the start time, because we've all gotten conditioned for later starts, whether it's hockey or basketball. We'll find out more about the Wolves start on Thursday night. It's either going to be, you said 8 or 8:30, right? Likely 8:30, realistically.
That's what Jace Frederick tweeted out a few days ago. It all has to do with the San Antonio Spurs, Davey, and the Portland Trailblazers, if their series continues or is done after tonight.
This is from 701 guy. I think you're forgetting that once Zuccarello comes back, Carl Kaprizov will also be back on the ice. Does he think he means Kaprizov?
I would imagine so.
That might be, was that one of those like dictated things where it comes out that way?
Seems like it,
yeah,
sure.
Unless there's a joke there I'm not familiar with. That might work. Dr. Phil from St. Michael, haven't the Wolves proven they can come back against the odds like a couple years ago in Game 7 on the road? And let me scroll down. And the Wild have not proven that yet. I'm going to go with the Wolves. Well, that's understandable. Again, I wouldn't be quite as cocksure about Game 7, despite, even with the Wolves' history, because of their circumstances this time. I think, again, if you keep increasing the number of games in which you're playing without Anthony Edwards, And Dante, I think it's more likely to catch up with you every time you get out there, just because obviously one guy's a star and the other guy's a pretty important player, right?
And was playing great.
And was playing really well and very active, et cetera. So is it, as Johnny said, is it impossible? No, but I think it's a lot harder proposition to take seriously this time. And I'm very curious. I mean, the atmosphere, again, has been very good in the building. And I have to believe people are smart. They know what's at stake there. They know the condition the team is in physically. So I have to believe Thursday night, regardless of starting time, that place is going to be as crazy as it's been in a long time, if ever. Because it's like, if not now, when? This is the moment where, in all seriousness, you're looking for that level of intensity. You're looking, you're looking for blood, right? You are looking for just preventing even the team having to be in a position where they have to go back to Denver again. And it's easier to think of it, even though, again, it's a best of 7, as a best of 1 in this case, where we don't have to think anything beyond this. We win tonight, we're extending. And is it a pipe dream to think that Anthony Edwards is going to be available for any significant contribution in the second round? It might be, but at least you give yourself a chance to dream. You give yourself a chance to see if there's a miracle reemergence of Edwards, where he gets healthier quicker than one might even expect.
Well, and all you can do at this point is all you can do. And ending Denver's season and maybe even their championship window, because there's some big conversations going on about the future in Denver with a lot of different guys right now. What a feather in the cap of your team it would be. Like, I know you don't get a banner for that.
No, but
I mean, we might. I don't know. Ended Denver's championship window. Right. Ended David Adelman's coaching career. I don't know. It would just be in adverse circumstances when it finally looked like you were putting things together to go on maybe a little bit of a run after a very up and down regular season, as the head coach even admitted a few nights ago. That would be a nice way to get the most out of the hand that you've been dealt this series, by just sending Denver home and the tailspin that might come out of all of that.
To my question that I asked, do you feel more confident in the Wolves winning 1 with serious injuries, or the Wild winning 2, getting healthier? Andy writes, Minnesota Wild, and it's not even close. They still have their stars, and they aren't a schizophrenic team that only tries when they want to. That oversimplifies some of the weaknesses that have been revealed in the Wolves when it's not going good. I don't know that it's always necessarily effort myself. But and I get what he's saying, because the Wild are healthier. This is a team more equipped to finally, I think, get out of the first round. But I do tend to, and I might fall prey to this too much. I tend to be I know it's possible, but I've got to see it actually transpire. It's become this odd mental block, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's a physical block, whatever, that the Wild have not been able to get over. And a lot of these players weren't even around for the beginning of it. We get that. But a team has to forge out on its own and sort of create its own history. That's the opportunity, I think, afforded the Wild here to kind of put that back behind. And we're just talking about, as I said, getting out of round 1. And I do think there's still enough pedigree and experience, as exasperating as the Wolves can be, to say they can draw upon that. They can draw upon their history together. The Wild can't really draw upon their history together. The only way they can is if they make that history. And that's where I think they have a really good opportunity tonight. All right, let's get one more break in. We'll wrap up. We'll give you a review of a couple of interesting nuggets today, no pun intended, and then prepare for an extended Wild pregame show at the bottom of the hour.
Show wrap is brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the bumper-to-bumper show wrap.
If you're a Tuesday regular and wondering where in the world is Lou Nanny, well, he's in Bermuda, or on his way to Bermuda, one or the other.
He's there.
He's already there.
Yep, I spoke with him today.
We ran into some scheduling issues today, so we made it easy for him to just skip today's visit, and he'll join us tomorrow to review game number 5.
Part of the problem, they are 2 hours ahead of us.
Okay.
So right now what time is it? It's 8:20 there.
Right.
They were going to dinner tonight. He's got, I think, all his kids and his wife. Right. It's a nice family trip.
Yeah.
And they have to drive all the way to the other side of the island to the restaurants
Life
that
is
they
tough,
want.
man.
I know,
it's
right?
Tough. It's challenging.
He said it's 26-mile island. You got to go all the way to the other side to get to the restaurant that they're going to. So today, we would have had to start the show with him, basically, which I didn't think was the best idea. So he will join tomorrow at 3:30.
That's outstanding.
And then hopefully make it to his dinner.
I'm assuming Kessler's back tomorrow, although I don't know that. We think he's back.
Have not heard otherwise.
Okay. So we'll get caught up with him on a number of items. And we may still also tomorrow, we may add a basketball presence. I'm negotiating with several of our regulars to that extent, and hopefully one of them will get back to me for either a visit tomorrow and or Thursday. I want to thank our outstanding array of guests today. Kevin Seifert joined us in studio. His view on the draft and on the trade and on the general manager search. Wes Walls joined at 4. I had a text. Let me see if I can scroll up to it here. This came in about looks like 5:30. Enough of the NBA. How about some hockey talk? Where's Russo Radio? Just having fun with you guys, keeping up with the action from Tucson. Keep up the great work. By the way, don't forget, Big Dumper's manager is one of us, former Gopher Dan Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten that.
Local Angle.
Yeah.
Local Angle.
I was a Dan Wilson guy.
Wes Walls was our hockey presence today. It was just earlier in the program. He joined at about 4. And then Jonny Athletic was with us at 5:30 to review game number 5 and preview game number 6. Wolves, and we'll get a start time by the end of the evening. We will know. Earliest it'll be 8. It more likely probably be closer to 8:30 or 8:40, which we've grown very, very accustomed to. The good news tonight is that the Wild game is a 7:10 puck drop. Extended pregame show will start at 6:30, and we're doing a Wild Wine Line after the show, or after the game, correct? That's what we've been told, at least.
Why not?
Which is an outstanding idea. I had one other email. Come on, Dan. Having 2 second-round teams isn't banned. We'll need 2 KFANs, Wolves and Wild, in 6. We would love it. That'd make history. Think about how much extra built-in programming, if they both advance, it's a minimum of another 2 weeks.
I think about it every year.
Yeah, I mean, we can mail it in. Just more good conversations with our hockey guests, with our basketball guests, with the listeners. And look, it could happen. I don't think it's that outrageous. The hard part, the daunting part for the Wolves is the obvious, right? It's how far can you really go, given that your second-round matchup, it looks like it's going to be the Spurs, right? They could wrap things up tonight.
Yes.
Oklahoma City 1-4, is that correct?
They did. They did.
They took care of business in 4. Boston is hosting Philly tonight. Can they wrap that one up tonight too? Is it 3-1?
I think it is.
I think it is.
I'm going to double
remember.
check, and I think that game just started.
It did. Yeah, it just started not too long.
Yes,
ago.
Boston leads 3-1.
3-1, and I have to tell you, it's how delicate of a situation is it when you're running the Sixers and Embiid raises his hand and says, "Hey, look, man, I'm healed from the appendicitis.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to get back out there." And you go, "Oh my God, do we really want him back out there right now? He's not in shape.
Can't guard anybody.
Everything slows down with him. We got 2 or 3 guys who are scoring the hell out of the ball, and they're going to go by the wayside because they're not going to see the ball as much. But I guess we got to play him." And the first game back was the worst game of the series for Philly. They were never in it. Boston was up, I think, 20 after the first quarter. So that's the odd situation sometimes you get yourself into. You're stuck. And by the way, I think Embiid has 3 more years on a contract that pays him $60 million a year. So you can't get rid of him. You might have to do one of those, I guess, buyouts maybe. But I don't even know if that's practical.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So you're in a no-win situation. He's never going to be in shape again. He's never going to be completely healthy again. He's never going to get it again, as good as he was once upon a time. I mean, there were people once upon a time who said that Joker couldn't hold a candle to Joel Embiid.
Remember what he used to do to Carl?
Whoa, he tortured him.
He cooked Carl for a couple of years.
That's true. But that was feels like a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
I think the Knicks are playing tonight, too, and that series is 2-2.
Yes.
They played through Carl last game. Will Brunson allow them to do that again? Will the coach allow them to do Carl to control the game again? We'll find out. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for listening today. And we will chat with you tomorrow beginning at 3 o'clock right here on The Fan.
A lot of things that are easily correctable.